What's good, my boy? Today I'm going to be discussing the philosophy of finish it, release it, and start over. And we're not talking about like some accountant shit or mathematician, or we kind of could be talking about a mathematician with like solving equations and shit, because it falls in the line of like creative work, which is mainly what this philosophy is based around. So, to just quickly define the three parts, finish it means say you got your idea and it went through all of the different phases of the process that you have, and you get towards the final stages where finishing it becomes a reality. Or even in the beginning, if you're starting to procrastinate or push it off, finish whatever fucking project you have. Yesterday, I'll give an example. Yesterday, and plenty of days in the past, I've made songs, and they're not the best because I'm not that educated in mixing and mastering and making all the instruments sound perfect, as well as I'm not the most skilled in any of these instruments either. But I have certain systems put into place and certain goals at the end of those systems of something that I want to achieve, which is a finished song. Now, I could sit there all day and tweak fucking knobs and play with buttons and spend like 2 weeks on one thing and be like, man, this gotta be my beautiful dark twisted fantasy masterpiece, dude. Just sitting there fucking smoking cigarettes like some little hipster boy, playing on Ableton, little beanie on my head, just, dude, this is gonna be the best thing ever. Or I could, for myself, selfishly, stop fucking stop fucking myself over, really, and just getting it done and finishing the motherfucker, which is not only gratifying to myself and allows me to move forward, but it also allows me to move forward into new projects and develop new skills, which is beneficial for the art itself. So, finish whatever your fucking work is. Release it. Now, this is an argument that's kind of hard to make for other people. But for me, releasing my art kind of is like the last finishing touch. Because it allows me to say, you know what, I like this enough that I can let it go and let it go into the ethos and I don't have to touch it again. It's almost like the rules of setting guidelines, setting dates. Like, say if you were a professional musician, right? And you're on a label, they're going to set a fucking date for you to be done with something. They're going to be like, all right, dog, if you're not done by this date, we're going to start, it's going to negatively affect you, so we need this shit done. And if we own the rights to it, so if you're not fucking done, we're going to take whatever you got. That's what it happens whenever you work for somebody else. But whenever you're on your own, it is highly important to set deadlines for yourself, because if you don't, you may finish a song, but unless you release it as a final thing, and it could be released without the desire of anything happening to it, but just releasing it for the fact, and not just music, literally anything. I post pictures of my like 20-minute fucking autistic level water paintings or oil paintings or whatever, just because it literally releases your grasps on it and doesn't allow you to be like, come back later and be like, all right, what could I fix on this? It makes you actually feel like whatever you're working on is done. And then you can move on to the final step, which is to start that process over. And this is the most crucial step: repetition, consistency, getting the numbers in, because this allows us to develop and get better at our craft. And essentially, like woodworking, it is essential for me to utilize this philosophy, because I think back a couple months ago whenever I was really deep in the trenches of this philosophy making my music shit, and it's not the best stuff in the world by any stretch of the imagination. Some of them I'm proud of, and some of them I just had to do this philosophy so I could move on to the next thing. And I was so happy during this period because I actually felt like I was getting better every day. And then over the last like month, I've had a lot of stressful shit and a lot of things that I've had to do and get done. So I had to kind of put it on the back burner. And now as I'm reintroducing all these things and putting systems into place with my music and my building to make consistent chips away at the block every single day, I'm finding that this like little faggy, man, I'm just gonna make my masterpiece at my own time. You see all these people. I have like a lot of people, like music people on my walls and shit like that in here. And I'm like, man, some of these people, all they did is just like, you start thinking like this in your brain. And you can take this example to any art form that you might practice. You start thinking like, man, that person, they didn't really release that much shit. They kind of made all these masterpieces and it just took them time, and they took 2 years on one thing. And I think that is like cool and all, but it's also fucking bullshit. Such bullshit. We put these people on a pedestal, and I'll mention Kanye again because, from my own opinion, I've never really heard a project, maybe Watch the Throne in its entirety. I didn't really like the entirety. I liked 1 or 2 songs off that son of a bitch. But pretty much everything he's ever made has been like fucking masterpiece level almost, right? Maybe the last couple albums haven't been up there. I didn't really care too much for Vultures. I ain't really listened to it again. But I'm fucking distracting myself here. We often forget. None of us have access to his like fucking first 100 beats he made, and then the 1,000 after that, and then the ones he started showing Jay-Z. None of us have access to those things. Okay? He made them. He had to make them because apparently, according to him, he was making shit all the way back in like the mid to late 90s. Probably before that even. But I've never fucking heard this shit at all. I have never heard it. I didn't hear his shit until like 5 or 6 years later. So, and you can really look deep into anybody's discography or body of work in any art form that you highly respect, and you can pinpoint this same thing. There is 100%. Pablo Picasso is a perfect example. He has these periods in his life whenever it came to painting where he has like this blue period, and then he has like his later works where it's like he seems to have dialed in his style perfectly, and that is a Picasso painting. And it's often challenging for us to be, especially when we compare ourselves to this, but you can go on the internet and see his like early paintings, and they're like absolute dog shit. But he made them, and he finished them, and he showed them to people, and he started over again. That is the process of getting better at this shit every single fucking day. I outline myself and force myself, and this is the major key thing here. Once you have this very good understanding of this finish it, release it, start over philosophy, which it's not hard to grasp, apply the Steven Pressfield philosophy of turning pro. Kind of a queer little analogy he puts for it, but just showing up every fucking day. Treat it like you're Michael Jordan playing basketball or something, dog. Oh man, I just don't feel like doing it today. You got Ableton open on one fucking screen. You're watching Shane Gillis or Sam Hyde calling people gay on the other one. Makes you feel better. And then you look down and you're like, fuck, I ain't created nothing, but fuck that shit. I'm entertained with this. No. I have a MacBook here and a big monitor up here. But I've recently found highly beneficial is to close the MacBook, get a separate keyboard, and only work off this monitor. Whenever I was like a little gamer boy back in my teenage years, I did this thing called multitasking gaming. I would pick a task in World of Warcraft and grind it for 14 hours. I remember this one time I killed a mob. It was in this one place in World of Warcraft. I killed this mob for 14 hours straight just to get a gold dragon mount. And while doing that, I had some like bullshit YouTube whatever going on in my secondary monitor. And it was such a monotonous, like pointless task that I could do that. Because it was like 2 or 3 buttons I had to press. But we're not doing that here. We're not fucking grinding out some fucking video game shit. We're trying to get better at our craft through deliberate practice and truly being aware of what you're doing so you can improve and realize, all right, these are the things I need to improve on. You have to actually try on this shit. So what do? I close this fucking thing and only work off of this one screen because it does not allow me to multitask. Fuck that shit, bruh. Focus on one thing and get better at it. When I'm in here, I'm not thinking, oh, let me do this and let me go do this. No, it's fucking Kyle Newport Deport type shit on this. That's how that is what you gotta do. If you want these like crazy delusions of like success in a certain time frame to happen, you have to apply certain systems if you want to bend the odds in your favor. Or even if you're not infatuated with that side of things, if you just want to purely get better at these things, or you can make things that you are utterly proud of, that's all it lies to. I released a song yesterday on my YouTube, and I don't really encourage nobody to go watch it because although I got the production right and I like the way my melodies and my fucking lyrics and all that shit works, I know that I'm severely lacking in the mastering thing. So what did I do? I uploaded it fucking anyway because I'm not going to spend a week on something that I know I can't really improve off the bat. And I fucking pirated a like 2-hour mastering and mixing little program thing that cost me literally nothing, and it came along with a PDF. And I'm going to start applying this to the deliberate practice and trying to learn to get better on it. You just got to be aware and think of these fucking things. So finish it, release it, start over, and show up every single day like a professional would do. Okay? That's all it comes down to. You do those things, get them built into a routine, and it's fucking impossible for you not to succeed in like 10 years. And that's the third part of the equation, patience, because this shit might take you your entire fucking life. Chase paper, enjoy art and nature, and have a good one, my boy.